So today we're going to check the 101 on connecting Chatbot Builder to many other apps through Make. Okay, why am I choosing Make? Well, because that's the one that I like to use. Before we get started with the recording, some of you were asking me which one I would prefer, which one was best. I was telling you that I prefer Make, but on the other hand, Ryan prefers Zapier, so it will be either one. I will teach you Make. Okay, so for that one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start sharing my screen. And in here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna refresh here from the start. This is my dummy account. So you will see a lot of tests and a lot of stuff because this is my dummy account. Don't get scared. The first thing you need to understand is that if you are with Chatbot Builder, you will need to go to settings, and in settings, you will go to integrations. Below, you will have the three of them: Zapier, Make, that used to be called Integromat, and Public. Okay. Why do we have these three? Well, because the way these three work is through apps, meaning that if I go here, you will see that I have a lot of apps, okay? But there should be one app for us, Chatbot Builder, that we have already created. The thing is, it's not a public one. You see, all of these ones are public, but ours is private, okay? So to actually be able to find it in the list or to be actually able to use it, you have to click and then click here. Once you have clicked, you will see that it's taking you to an invitation. So don't get scared. It's just an invitation and it's asking you to install this app. I already did it, so I don't need to do it again. But this is the screen that you will see. Now, if you are on a white label or you're a white label owner and are trying to understand how to do this, your system by default do not have this. What you will need to do is to take this URL that I'm having here, this specific URL, and on your white label dashboard, what it says Integromat or Make, you will need to paste it. Okay. So why do I need an app? The apps inside Make will work like, what can I do? What my superpowers are. Okay. In this case, we have something that we call triggers. That is, this is where I store a scenario. A scenario in Make will be basically what we have as a flow. When we're talking on Chatbot Builder and we need to trigger a flow, it could be because it's a welcome message, because it's a default response, because there's a clickable option somewhere that takes us to that flow. Maybe it's a function, maybe it's a keyword, maybe it's something else. Okay, that things that starts a flow or the starts, in this case, a scenario, we will find it listed as triggers. What can it be when it comes to Chatbot Builder? Well, it can be an abandoned cart. If you're using the e-commerce, most likely you will notice that people add stuff to their carts but never complete, never finish, never pay. So you can set up if after 30 minutes or 1 hour of inactivity, after they started like adding stuff to their cart and they have not paid, we consider that an abandoned cart and we can do something about it. Maybe if we have already their emails, we can email them something. Maybe we can send this information to another app that we have because that's where we are having control of all of it. I don't know. Okay, we can have another trigger that could be like whenever in the live chat is disabled, whenever a custom field has been updated, we could have a custom field that actually rules the scenario, and whenever we change the value, we do something in here. We are going to talk a little bit more of that, but I need to cover this part. Okay, we can do something whenever we get a new user. Example, if I get a new user, I want to add them to my list on some other app or to my CRM and somewhere else, and I don't want to be having the hassle of doing external requests because this CRM is not so popular, so we don't have it as a native integration. So this will be the place to do it. Okay, but the most common of all of them in these kind of things will be watch new trigger make event. Okay, if I go to my bot and I go to flows, you will notice that I will add a new one. And this is how I get a mess in my bots. Okay, add a new flows all over. Okay. If I click here and add content, I will have actions. These actions, you will see that at the bottom I have trigger. Okay. And I can trigger any of these three. If I click on trigger make, it means that whenever someone passes through this action, I'm sending a signal to make. Was that one clear? When I pass through this, I send a signal. Just as when I add a tag, let me just for you to have a little bit more tangible way. Whenever someone passes here, I can add a tag that says done. Okay. Oh, sorry. Whenever someone passes here, I will add a tag, and this is that one. Same logic happens here. Whenever someone passes through here, or let's talk about a click. Maybe whenever they did this, I can perform an action, and that action could be to trigger make. Example of what can be what could be this. Maybe I have here a confirmation of the ticket information that maybe they have a support issue. And because they have a support issue, I already collected the name of the user, the account ID, maybe a video, a description, blah, blah, like collected all the information I have. Here, maybe I have a message that confirms this is the correct information. And if they say yes, I go to make, and make goes to whatever platform I have in for ticket handling and creates the ticket. That could be one option. Okay, that's one of the scenarios that some people have asked me on. So how does this actually work? Because you were telling me, okay, this I can understand, but how can I actually say that one is the other? Okay. So here, once I have accepted and I have installed this app, I will notice that in here, I will already have this one. Okay, so I click in here, and again I have all the triggers, and I also have all the actions. So the trigger in this case is that I'm watching an event. Okay, this is the one, and we want to take this indicator here. What does this indicator means on make? This means this is my start. If I go to the bot, you will see that I have my start, and if I have another message, it doesn't have it. But if I change, I will change where is the start. That's the same logic, okay? So if I go here, I can have an immediately, or I can change it. I strongly recommend that if you're using this specific trigger, to keep it on immediately, okay? So now, if I click here on the app, I will see that I have some selections. It will allow me to select whatever I already have here, or maybe I can add a new one. Okay, so as you can see, this is a mess. This is messy because I don't know which bot is which. Okay, so what I will do is click on add. I will change the name and what, see if I have it. No, I don't have any Wendy of it. No, I don't have it here, so I will have to add. I will add, and it's going to ask me. It's going to ask me for the bot API key. For those who doesn't know where to get it, if I go back to my bot, I will go back to the screen where I was, and I click on settings. I go to integrations. In here, I will see that I have the API. So I will stop sharing for a second just to pick up my key. Why am I doing this without showing? Well, because that API key is super sensitive, guys. You should never share those with someone outside your team that should have the access. Why? Because that API key means that someone remotely can do stuff inside your account. Okay, and this applies to any other system that you're using. API keys should be always be kept safe. So I will go here, and it's going to ask me to paste it. So because I'm going to paste it, again, I'm going to stop sharing. And once I paste it, I'm going to click on save, okay? and share my screen again. So here is the name that I selected, and now I have to choose an event. It's going to load if it finds any. Okay, maybe I don't have, okay, yeah, I already have one. So the thing that I'm going to do is, you see I have 1, 2, 3 options. And I think that one was the last class I did. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going back to my flows, oh, to the flow where I was doing this demo. And in here I can choose, you see these 3 match with these 3. Those are my options. But maybe I need a new one. How do I create one? Or maybe I don't have any. How do I create the first one? This one usually is the most um, common question that we have. And just simply type a name here. Once you type a name, you click enter, and this now exists. So now how can I tell you that it actually exists? Let's reload this. It is going to, and now I have it. So what the names should be. These names should be the actual action that you want to perform. Example, create a user, update my database in, I don't know where, generate a ticket, look for this, do that. You need to call it with an action or the event that you're actually using. Why? Because it will make it clear. If you call it 1, 2, 3, or just random names, you will get lost. And that's not what we want. So in this case, I'm going to keep that one, and I'm going to save. And okay, so let me do this. So how do I know that this is actually working? Well, if I click it on run once, this is going to be waiting for someone to actually pass through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass through here just by previewing this one on the chat. It's going to tell me nothing because there's no message. But now if I go back here, I already have a number 1. What does this mean? This means that I already have information. Someone passed through here and I have information. All this information I'm getting from that user. Okay, many of this is empty because, well, that user is a new one. So you can see I have a lot of information here. And you will ask me, okay, what can I do with this? So now it's the turn of you guys to give me some ideas so I can show you how could be done through here. Steve, what would you like, or what would you like to test around here? Now that we have proved that how we can connect one to each other.
Let someone else weigh in. I'm not sure quite yet.
Okay,
I missed a few minutes, a few seconds of that.
okay, don't worry. Kim, let's imagine that you're building something. What would you be building?
I'm not really sure because like I can do a lot of the Google Sheets and stuff right in the bot now. So a lot of the things that I used to do with Zapier, I can kind of do with the bot without having that third party
Yeah,
connection. So
that's a
I'm kind
complicated.
of trying to figure out what I actually need Make for anymore. Um, maybe like with Slack, some interaction with Slack with my media team that has like we share a lot of videos and examples before the content shoots that we share on Slack so that we can get an idea of our content creation for the month. Maybe some kind of an interaction with that, but I'm not sure why I would use my bot to connect to that. I'd
Oh,
have
for
to think
example,
about
I
that.
see in Slack that has search for a message. So maybe
Maybe,
let's
yeah,
click
because we primarily use that for messaging back and forth, um,
internally.
ideas and stuff that we're having.
Okay, let's imagine that we do have some message there, and you see I can only just, and it's connected. Okay, but I could also just drag and connect. Okay,
Yeah,
we
okay,
can have a filter here. I'm not going to go deep in that, but I just want you to know that we do have filters. And anyway, let's see what we have. Oh, I don't have a connection. That's a bummer. So what I'm going to show you here, that we don't need it to be honest, but let's say that um, we want to send an email, that we don't need it, but just for you to see something. In
okay.
here, what I'm going to have is, I have placeholders. We have the email that is going to get it. We have the subject line, and we have the content. The content when it comes to Gmail is an HTML, so don't get very excited because you need to format this. So in the email, what I will do is simply drag the email here. And now if I have the email from the user, it's going to populate here. This is like the custom fields, okay? And let's say that the subject line, it will be hello user number, and I can grab the user ID. And this email is to let you know that you have clicked. Okay, test it out. And you say, okay, but now I want to confirm that the user already got the email. So something that I could do is in here, I could go now to the actions, and I can tag a user, or I can clear a user custom field, or I create a new contact. I can do a lot of stuff here. So what I'm going to do is, let's say that I want to add a tag, okay? Because this one could have started on maybe on your CRM. Like whenever I do something on the CRM, I want to notify the bot about that user. So this is how it will work. In here, you will see that it's going to ask me for my connection. Click. This is the one. You see, it does matches. And the user ID in this specific case should come from my first step, because that's the one who's telling me what user. Okay, I need to tell which user I'm going to command this action to. And the tags I can search. Let me see. Oh, I already have. Let's imagine that I want to add that tag. So maybe what I have, I need to move you guys. Okay. So maybe what I need to do is to start from maybe from another CRM where I already have that user ID saved, because maybe this trigger actually sent to the CRM, and now whenever the CRM does something, I trigger to tag the user or to change a value inside the custom fields of the user, and this is how I will do it. So at this point, without getting a little bit more deep into all of this, does this help you have clear how to start a connection with Chatbot Builder and make?
Yeah, this works for me.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah,
Can
go
you
ahead.
send, like in the scenario that you've done, so say like if we wanted to send it to multiple CRMs,
Mhm.
so if I wanted to send it to, you know, 2 different types, can you just set it up as 2 different things, or do you have to build out
You
two,
could choose
you know what I'm
scenario,
saying?
or
Yeah.
let's imagine that what you want is a router. Let's imagine that you want something in here.
Okay.
Let's unlink this one. And let's say that in here will be for DOS,
Stop.
maybe, and the custom field appointment actually exists. If they have an appointment, it goes through here. But if they don't, well, let me create another email, just because this is my placeholder, right?
Okay, I gotcha.
So I set up a new filter, and I say again that the appointment doesn't exist. I don't remember if I did the same one. Okay, this one is exists, and this one is doesn't exist. So this one means if the appointment is empty, do this. If the appointment already has something, do that. This is something that you could be doing. Does this solve your question, Greg?
Yeah, that would work too. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So, hello, Hermin. We're just checking the 101 on how to connect Chatbot Builder with Make. In case you have a question, just give. So far, I want to know that I'm being clear on this one, because this is the 101. This is the steps, like just how to connect, how to start a connection. And I do want to talk about a little bit of these other steps, that is, okay, let's do something in here so we can actually understand a little bit more. So
Wendy, could you please review just real quickly the trigger step? What's happening to get us to the router point?
okay. Okay, in this case, what we're doing is whenever this is triggered, we are going through this path. What path? Well, we are going to check if the condition. In here, unlike Chatbot Builder, if I do a condition, this is a router, not a condition. The condition in there will choose which one actually matches, and it's going to take that path. In here, it's going to check each individually, and it's going to say, okay, does the settings that I have, does the filter that I have actually fulfill these conditions in the filter? Yes, do this. And then it's going to ask the same here.
No.
So if a user,
Change.
I'm gonna have to mute you, Ken. So if we have a scenario where whenever I trigger, it actually fulfills or actually uses or can fit on both scenarios, it's going to do both. Okay? It's not going to choose the first one. It's going to do all of the ones that actually met. Okay? So the trigger, because you asked me, how am I getting into here? What I did was, first step was I went to my Chatbot Builder account, I went to settings, and in settings, I went to integrations. Integrations, I had to go all the way down until I found make that was known as Integromat, and I click here to accept an invitation. I will click it again so you can see. This is an invitation that you have to click on the top to install. And once you have accepted, it means that in here you can now see the app. Well, you will have to look for it in this searching, but you can type the name ChatGPT Builder, which is the same that you will see on the top in here. Okay. The other thing is going to ask you is to connect the chatbot. The chatbot will request from you to use the API key. You will get it from here. Remember not to share it with someone that you don't trust or publicly, because this means that someone can do stuff to your account. So be careful with that one. Once you have your token key, what you're going to do is you're going to paste it and follow the steps as it asks you. So the other thing we did was that from the app, we use the option from all of these. The one that we were testing today is this one, watch new trigger make event. And if I go back to my flows, I will notice that that trigger, that watch event actually refers back to an action step that we have built in. In here, with any message, I add content, I click on actions, I click on triggers, and let me move you guys, I click on make, and in make, I can select any that I have done, or I can start typing and click enter to generate a new one. Okay, does this solve the question, Steve?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Ken, you arrive kind of middle of all of it. Do you have questions, Ken?
No. I just figure out what's going on first.
Okay, yeah, we're basically learning the ABC of how to connect Make and Chatbot Builder. Why? Because Make does have a lot of apps, and sometimes it's way easier to do something with this versus doing an external request from us. Remember that the alternative of not using any Make, Zapier, or Pabbly will be for you to use this option in actions, and we have external API request, and you will have to build. So basically what these things are doing, this one, but already masked in a way that it's easier for you just to pull the data or to understand what's going on. So this is the baby steps for this one. And yes, I do use Make whenever I don't feel like actually doing the external requests from scratch. Is there a scenario that you would like for us to kind of test, guys? Let's see, Roberto, what are you building on Make that you felt like you needed to learn about this class? What apps are you using right now that we could try to figure out something to do?
Well, I haven't used it in a while, but Uh, I could do a scenario where a prospect or a client. Nowadays, I send it everything to Google Sheets, but we could trigger send it to us to a CRM, different CRM maybe.
Yeah, something that maybe could be a scenario. Let's say that you use Monday, and Monday you use it for like adding your task for the day, like your checklist of what you're going to do. And whenever a new lead have already done X, Y, and Z, you want to manually get ready something for the user or for that lead that it's coming. So something that you can do is, let me see, updates. Let me see if it has something for create. Oh yeah. You can create an item or you can create a sub item. Maybe you create the item for the user and you create 5 sub items that are all the to do that you have to do for that specific one. Example, the user got to your bot, your agency bot, and it's booking an appointment for you to actually build a bot for them. And you already collected a lot of information and you have, okay, the item will be the lead's ID or something like that for me to know that I have a new lead. And the sub items is before the meeting, I should take a look into the website. I should take a look into this and to the niche. And I need to select which one of my templates I'm going to present. And blah, blah, blah. All the tasks I could be listening here. That's something fun that you could be doing. Like the bot can be adding all those tasks to you in your Monday if that's the one that you use. Does that one make sense? Does that one like create an ideas for you guys to have to start using this?
Yes. Also, a use case could be if a client sends a payment. I mean, I don't know, a picture or a confirmation, something. How could you use Make for that?
Okay, for that one, I will give you
that
the
one.
one that I actually use. So let me delete all of this because these ones we are not going to use. Okay, whenever someone sends you a picture through the messenger, let's imagine that scenario, the picture becomes a URL actually in the custom field because it's a URL that takes you to the picture. Problem is that because you don't own the hosting of that picture, you don't control if it gets deleted when or if not. Okay? So because you don't have control of that, you might want to save it. You might want to save it. Let's imagine that you want to save it in somewhere you can actually have it all forever until you delete it. So what we're going to do is, in this case, we're going to use HTTP and we're going to get a file. Okay. So what I'm going to do is the URL. Which one is the URL? Let's imagine in here that the profile picture is the one I want to keep. Okay. It could be anything. Let me see. Yeah, let's see. And I'll get to the bottom because everything is like on the way. Sorry. I have custom fields here. So maybe in here I have another custom field that actually saves that one. For example, website link, I don't know. So maybe in here I have in the picture of the payment statement or something like that. So let's imagine that I have one. I just select here and I click OK. What it's going to do is that it's going to actually download that file and we can upload it somewhere. The place where I recommend for you to do it because it's kind of easy and because it can be for free will be Google Drive. Okay, so what I will do here is I'm gonna click on Google Drive. You see, I search and I select the app because there are too many. So what I'm going to do is file, create, upload. Let me see which one. I'm gonna upload a file. Okay. And in here, what I'm going to do is, let's imagine that I'm going to upload it to Ryan's and I'm going to select flow and I'm going to do it like right in there. I don't have a flow. I don't have a folder. I like to do a mess. So let's do it in there. And what I'm going to do is, this is the file. Where it's coming from? Well, it's coming from here, you see? It's coming from here. And I click OK. Well, it's not allowing me just to do it there. It doesn't want to mess. CBB demo folder. Okay. So now I have told it that whenever someone finishes the flow or the sequence, the pre-qualification sequence, and have gave me the picture, I'm going to trigger this, and I'm going to download the picture, and I'm going to upload the picture somewhere where I own it. Okay. And the last step for me will be, okay, now I want you to tag the user as they already gave me the information. Or maybe not only that, maybe what I want is to set a custom field. Why? Because maybe in here, what I want is to, let it load. Maybe it's to take the user ID that I have from the beginning, collapse them all. I have it user ID, and the custom field I can choose anything. Let's say that this one is the place where I want to save the URL where I'm saving this. Where it is. Web view link. I click on this, and I want to save in a custom field, that one, because maybe I'm going to do a click of an option for them to click and watch whatever they send me. I don't know, maybe that's what I want. Okay. And finally, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to send them a flow saying, hey, I already got all your information, thank you. So I'm going to send a flow to the user. And here I'm choosing the same connection. I'm letting it load. And I'm waiting. Okay, so user ID, I will go again, and I will get the same ID. I'm always using the same ID because I always want the same user. And I want the flow. I can do it with the IDs, and the IDs, in case you don't know how to get it, this is the flow ID. The next part is your account. This one is the flow ID. Let's imagine that that's what you want. But to keep it easy, what you can do is just to choose with a name. Let's say that this one, and I click OK. So whenever someone passes through here, I'm going to download the file, I'm going to upload the file, I'm going to tag the user, I'm going to save this URL for the file in the custom field, and then I'm going to send the flow to the user. Was that complicated? Like, was that one way too hard?
No,
No,
that's really
no.
good.
another idea though. Can you,
Yeah.
so using the same scenario that you're going through, if say a new user left a Google review, could that be a trigger? So that you could capture the new review, what it says, send that to ChatGPT or send that to CBB to have that AI review what was written and write a reply. It is the thing I'm trying to figure out how I could do that, but I don't know if you can grab a new review. I know you can get alerted to a new review, but I don't know if you can grab it.
Look, Rick, you have it here.
No.
So if you use Google My Business as an ad, that one could be your trigger. And from there, you could send to Chatbot Builder and do all of the things. So the thing that you have to think right now is, how do I match this review with an user? Maybe I cannot. And if I cannot, I need to create a new user so the information doesn't get mixed across all of the users. Or how am I going to actually do that data transfer to a user? Because all of this must be done through one specific user. Which one? The one that you want or the one that dynamically is selected. So if I'm watching for reviews, maybe what I'm gonna do is to find the user through the email. And if I find him or her, what I can do is to use that user to reply. But if I don't find a user with that email, what I can do is create a new one. And now I have collected the email.
Right, but in the Google My Business that you're talking about here, when it triggers that there was a new review, what information is collected on that? Do you know?
Well,
You haven't looked at that yet, right?
that's on their side, and you will need to do the connection to actually test it.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'll try it out. That's something I've been trying to trying to make happen. So
Yeah, and that's a
um
perfect scenario. That's an amazing scenario to do. So instead of starting here, you will start here, and you can do a lot of things. And you can actually, if that user already exists, you can tag them as, okay, good review, bad review, according to whatever the prompt has determined that it is.
right. And then send it to a manager or yeah, there's a lot there that would be super to be able to tap into, let alone have it auto respond to that person.
With an
So
actual
have,
feeling, yeah, an actual feeling of
yeah, I
what's
mean,
going on
have,
instead of just an auto reply like, thank you for your thoughts, like super standard. You can
yeah, have it
actually
read,
read.
have exactly have GPT read it and then write a review based off of what they wrote would be awesome.
And it doesn't have to be only GPT. It could be Cloud. It could be Gemini. So you could
Well,
have.
true.
Yeah,
I haven't played enough with Gemini, so yeah,
yeah,
but
the
I mean,
thing
yeah,
is, you have tools.
any
You
one
have
of
options.
any one of those could work. Yeah, whether it's Gemini or that
Or
or
even a
Claude even. I
prompt
mean,
check.
any
You
one
can,
of those, it just the faster you respond to a review.
or the
But
one
what
who
this
doesn't
gives me is
exist.
the option to, like you said, if it's a good review or bad review, um,
Just a pass.
yeah, and then send it to a manager, or even, I mean, if worst scenario, I don't even have a worst scenario, but if you have the bot write a review and then send it for approval, you
Yeah,
could do
if it's
that in
that
this
you can
too,
add a notification to the admin like, hey, you got a bad review. This is what the review says. This is what the AI thinks you should be answering. Blah blah blah. You
right?
can do all of that.
Yeah, I mean both of them. I mean, yeah. So it's yeah, this would solve my this. I mean, if it works that way, I have to check out the what kind of information you get when you connect with Google My Business.
Yeah, and I think
That
should
would be
be.
great.
There are some apps that I might show you later, guys, in the on the road, because there's one app that through JSON could generate images. So let's imagine that you already have a template with the background and with your logo and everything, and what you want to change is actually the text inside, like, "Hey, look what our people say about us," and check the review, pasted it, like already has it with the font that you want. It resizes the font to fit the space, and that picture you download it, and then you connect these to Facebook and you can post it.
That's even better. I like that a lot. That's super. Because
Yeah,
then
you
you're
can do
getting the whole thing with the picture. Yeah, you're getting everything rather than just the words. That's yeah, I like that. That's a great idea.
yeah, you can do a lot of things. That's how you start connecting, because the Facebook API, it's open. You can actually build something to post those pictures. The thing is, it's not that easy to actually build it, but in Make there's already built, so you could be doing.
Right. Yeah, it's just I'm just really curious to see how much information
This one provides,
is
right?
available. Yeah, when you're on that Google My Business, how much of it pulls, which would
I
be
haven't
because if you
tried.
can get the person's, I don't know,
Maybe
I'm
give you
wondering
the
if it
email.
gives your person's the email because you have to be logged in
Yeah, it will
to a
depend.
Gmail account in order to even give a review, right?
Yeah, it will depend
So
on if what information is public. But yeah, I think it
yeah,
should give you the email, the public name, and the actual review. And if there were any stars, it should give it to you as well.
yeah, super. I'm anxious to test it out. Thanks.
Yeah, don't worry. Please stop sharing. Any questions? Ideas?
No, I'm good. Thanks so much.
Perfect.